what would you say to maybe somebody that's not as I guess the best way is invested in fighting fires, like the average citizen that doesn't really know what fires do? And I guess the question is, why are we spending this much money on fighting fires, and what is the benefit to it?
Okay, well, a lot of the purpose that goes into aggressively fighting fires is to cut down on the risk to life and property. So, for example, when you have a fire that is bumping up against an area where people live, you really put the effort strongly toward trying to protect the homes from burning. If evacuation is necessary for the people that live there, you do that. So you try and give the firefighters as much of enough room with the residents out of the way to aggressively go to work on fighting the fire to keep the fires from burning the homes. When you got wildfires burning on primarily the private industrial lands where logging is the intended purpose of the lands, try to keep the trees from burning up because there's no insurance policy on standing timber. So really aggressively try to keep fires from causing more and more loss to timber. And then there's the purposes of fighting fires to curtail the damage to the environment, because large wildfires obviously affect air quality, affects water quality, causes problems with certain wildlife habitat, obvious damage to recreation areas, trails, campgrounds. So, I mean, there's a wide range of reasons to go ahead and spend the money to go ahead and stop fires and put them out, particularly when they're near to populated areas. But there's also resource benefits to having fires deep in the national forests and in the wilderness areas. So they're strictly meant to confine the fires as best as possible, particularly when you're deep into summer where fires can burn pretty wide and ranging, and the larger they get, the harder they are to manage. So you do try to keep them on a manageable size. But when you're working in remote areas, you don't have as many options, like, for example, good access from roads. So you have to use a lot of natural barriers, employ techniques to slow the fire's growth down, using light on the land tactics that are still very effective. You use fire against fire. So there's a number of ways to accomplish a lot of different goals.
Okay.